Okay, welcome back to our Get Your Year in Gear. We are in our third session, our afternoon session, and we have a guest speaker with us, Jeff Lepka, and he was just sharing a little bit about how he got connected with Mary Kay. And so his wife, I wanted to share her stats. Carla Reno is a trip director, a top director in the nation, but I don't know where she landed this last year in Michigan. I think that it was really close to the top.
Yeah, it was. I want to say, I should know that in our.
She's in top 5 in the state of Michigan.
Yeah,
for
yeah,
sure.
yeah.
Like she was in most improved or overall. She was really close to 1. Most improved number 1.
Yeah, she was number 1 most improved. So we had a great year. Certainly.
Awesome. Excellent. And so Jeff was sharing how this came to be because I know and trust him with my family's finances, my son, my daughter, my husband, my business. But he was just sharing Terry Lewis, $1 Million Director Terry Lewis, had asked Jeff to come in because obviously if you have a $1 million unit, your people are selling a lot of product and they're making a bunch of money. But she was concerned that they weren't keeping money and they weren't managing money well. And so she asked him to come into a workshop a few months ago at our Livonia studio, and I heard rave reviews. And so I didn't know Jeff did this. I just never had really thought of it, but I asked him can you come in and do the same thing? Because you guys, Mary Kay Ash, she's been made out to be as, she's passed to be like this just fluffy fluff ball, like so sweet and encouraging. And she was velvet hammer. And she supported her family as a single mom in direct sales. And she started this business because of what women were not offered in her lifetime of working for equal wages, opportunities. She had jobs taken away from her, given to men because they had families to support, although she had a family to support also. And so her and Daleen White, who trained me, they talked about not just making money, but keeping money. Mary Kay clipped coupons until the end. She was known when she had the $1 million dinner, she'd ask, people, Cheryl Steinman, Debbie, Kathy, the $1 million directors of that era will tell you that Mary Kay would say, like, you do not need a new outfit every time. And she would say, like, Penny's is having a good sale now. Like, you don't need a St. John. And she was very conservative in her spending. And she was passionate about women, not just making money, but keeping money. And so again, since the pandemic, there's some things we need to shore up. And granted, we were just excited that we could stay in business. Right. When the company could stay as an essential business because of, having the new distribution plant, because we could invent a hand sanitizer in a week, we could give $10 million away to first responders, allowed us to stay open, which that's a godsend. If you ever doubt that God has his hand on this company and will continue to do so as long as we continue to protect his values and doing business the Mary Kay way, which is God's way, because that's what she based it on, we continue to have as protection and provision. But then we had to figure out how to just get behind a screen and sell stuff. And we were just happy to sell stuff. And then after we figured out, okay, well, people will buy QVC, then we had to figure out, well, it has to be skincare because that's the sustainable part of sales in our business. So you have residual income. And then we had to figure out recruiting. And so I think we've done that, but now that everything's open, we're going back into in-person and virtual. And so today we've been heavy on the in-person because that is something that I'm seeing a void in. And this is a critical piece because so far in my tenure in Mary Kay, I've never seen a direct selling company that does all their business virtually have the sustainability that Mary Kay Inc. has shown over 60 years. Mm-hmm. They don't. They generally, everyone's personal use. It's basically a buying club. They end up going into maybe chapter 13 or 11 or bought by venture capitalists because that's why they were building a certain amount of sales. And then that doesn't serve the sales force well at all. Mary Kay would not be a fan of that because she started this so that you could have a business, not so that Mary Kay corporate could be sold, not so that venture capitalists have an opportunity, not so that stockholders have money, so that you could support your family selling this product. And then the recruiting and the car and the family security program have been added on so that literally there's no opportunity, I can guarantee you, because I think in 37 years, I've been offered every single thing under the sun, plus other stuff. I mean, when I graduated from the University of Business School, I mean, I could go right now into a corporate position, but I would never want to. I mean, because of everything Mary Kay gives you, not just the financial security piece, but that is important because you cannot make dreams come true without finances. You cannot support ministries without finances. You cannot, support other people's dreams, like your children's, your husband's, your nieces, your nephews, people that you don't know, without finances. So Jeff, I think this is perfect timing. I hope that his contact information is on our boards. So if you have other groups that you want him to share with, please, sure, contact him. Because this is something that Mary Kay was near and dear to her heart. She talked about making money and keeping money continuously. It wasn't how much you made, it's how much you kept. And so thank you so much for joining us. And I'm gonna off spotlight and it's all yours.
Sure. Okay. Thanks for the great point, Dawn, of kind of highlighting that this is your business. And one of the things that I talked about this last seminar, I was privileged to host the husbands talk. And, normally I've gone to those in the past and it's a lot of people saying how you need to support your Mary Kay spouse or your Mary Kay significant other. But one of the things we talked about really this year and opened the door to was the added responsibilities you have as a business owner. And make no mistake at all, this is if you have taken the steps to start your Mary Kay business, you've already differentiated yourself from most people in the world. Entrepreneurship is an amazing opportunity. It has so much potential for so many different types of personalities, particularly within the Mary Kay atmosphere. So when we talked about finance and about the added responsibilities at seminar, we talked about treating and thinking of your business as a family business. With that comes all those opportunities. It comes the potential of a lot of money. It comes potential of building your business as big or small as you want. But with that comes a lot of responsibilities. Dawn mentioned that Terry Lewis and I had talked briefly, and full disclosure, this meeting I just did with them was my first time doing a group like that. I spent many years talking to families or small groups, but talking to a larger group like that was really fun. But what really happened at that first meeting was we all recognized that there's an enormous need for just awareness of what's happening out there. Most people in Mary Kay that I've met or encountered are coming from either a corporate background or having kind of normal real world jobs on their own. So the whole idea of entrepreneurship is fairly new for a majority of you. That's wonderful because that's going to, incentivize you to learn new things and to really build your business with a lot of enthusiasm. But one thing that we've really wanted to do is make people aware that all of those things that corporate or normal jobs provided for you before, you're going to need to provide for yourself now, which is also an awesome opportunity, but you need to be aware of those things. I'll use a corporate job as an example. Has retirement plans for you, right? 401ks, 403bs, where they say, okay, we're going to keep part of your paycheck. We're going to match part of it. And we're just going to take care of investing your retirement assets for you. We're going to take care of that. Here's your schedule. If you retire, then this is how much money you're going to make. These are things that now you have to take care of on your own. That is daunting, but it's not complicated. That's just a matter of educating yourself the same way you'd educate yourself on how to manage your inventory or how to manage doing your parties or how to recruit, right? The value of a financial person in your life is immeasurable for you. I'm just going to give you some quick once-overs of things to at least be aware of. I don't have a lot of huge information for those of you that are really financially aware, my apologies, because I'm going to kind of start with baby steps on a lot of things. But you starting your own retirement plans and starting your own liquid savings are going to be really important as you move forward in your business, no matter how big or small you are. Even if you're smaller and you're having parties and you're starting to see decent income, you need to create the habit of keeping some of that money to the side and investing it. Nobody else is going to do that for you. So you're going to have to be aware and be aware of what's available to you to do that. So the first thing that we always suggest when we're talking to people is, I'm going to share a quick screen with you real quick. And it's basically just a quick how-to when you get to the right spot. Bear with me. Okay, one of these. First thing is simple, but a lot of people, you'd be surprised, don't do that. Have $1,000 in your savings account. This seems simple, but usually $1,000 in a savings account means that people, that's the first place they go to if they need to spend something, right? We've all been in a position where we have a good month or we have a great party, or in my case, I make a good sale and we get a decent chunk of money in our hot little hands. We've all been there and we're all guilty of the first thought is, now I can get something that I want. Not necessarily that I need, but what I want. So this part, just the savings of $1,000 in a savings account that you are not going to touch, is important, not only because it's a little bit of a safety net, but because it starts creating habits. The habits are going to be saving first for yourself, okay? If you can create that habit, you're going to be ahead of 9/10 of the people out there. I work with a lot of people in our financial planning practice, and you'd be surprised how difficult it is for people to keep money in a savings account. And it's all relative. It doesn't matter how much or how little money they make. Too many people are living month to month. Okay. So our first step that we usually suggest to people is getting to the point where you can save $1,000 in a savings account. The next is, once you have that, start looking at, either through a financial planner in your area or somebody you know, to start opening investment accounts. And there's some really cool things that are available to you as a business owner that aren't available to people who are not business owners. The first, everybody's aware of what IRAs are, okay? IRAs are individual retirement accounts. The IRS lets you take pre-tax dollars and put them away for retirement. Those you can have as an individual, you can start those anytime you want, but there are limits to how much you can invest in those every year. There is something called a SEP IRA, Simplified Employee Pension IRA, that's available to business owners, where the IRS lets you put more money into those than a standard IRA. And bonus, they also let you deduct that on your taxes for the next year. So this is a very specific thing that not a lot of people are aware of, that an independent business owner can start for their retirement, that not only lets you potentially put a lot of money away toward retirement beyond the normal restrictions, but also has a tax benefit. That's a big deal. Anybody that's in business for themselves can start one of these. That's not to say you can't have an individual IRA. You can still have that. That's not to say that you can't keep 401ks or 401(b)(3)s that you've had in the past. You can do that as well. We also suggest that people start saving just in a straight, easy to manage investment account. This gives you liquid assets that you can invest in any number of ways. But it has a benefit more than just a savings account in the bank, in that we can invest it. We can make you greater gains over time, and we can have more diversification and safety for you. So really, somebody who's taking on the mantle of having their own business, being in charge of their own financial future, really needs to have things beyond just your bank checking and savings accounts. Okay. For you to get to the point where you can do the things you want to do financially, whether it's ministry, whether it's taking care of kids and grandkids, whether it's just having the freedom to have a retirement the way you want. These are things that not only should happen, they must happen. Okay. I don't want to sound like a hard line, but I don't have any clients that are having a comfortable retirement that didn't do these things. Okay. So investment accounts, SEP IRAs, things that are specifically for retirement. The biggest thing that you can do that will help you over time between now and whenever you want to retire is systematic investments. That I can't describe to you how important that is. Putting away $100 a month is far more advantageous than putting $1,200 one time in a year. There are things like compounding interest. There are things called dollar cost averaging that allows you to amass more money quicker by systematically investing than investing chunks of money at a time. That takes discipline. If we go back to that save $1,000, that's what creates those habits. I equate it with new clients of ours with paying your cell phone bill, paying your power bill, paying your mortgage, right? One of those things should be paying for yourself and paying for your retirement. So if you can get in the habit of writing that check, or doing better yet, an automatic investment out of your banking account into investment accounts every single month, by the time you retire, you will be very happy with the results. The advantage of having an advisor is not only our expertise in knowing what to invest in, but a good financial advisor will be on your case to invest. There'll be a little bit of somebody saying, okay, I haven't seen money going into your accounts in the last few months. What's up with that? Okay, so we're a little bit of a taskmaster in that sense for a lot of our clients because we want to see them succeed. We want to see them get to the point where they've got a comfortable retirement and that they can do the things they want to do in retirement. And it's not only retirement that we can have as a goal. We can, I have clients that we're investing money for a kid's college account, for grandkids' college accounts. There are financial products that are specifically for putting away money for college education that have tax advantages to them. A lot of people aren't aware of those either. So, just in a nutshell, if you don't have a financial planner yet, it's advisable to get one. You don't have to have large sums of money sitting aside. You don't have to be at a certain point in your financial life to do that. If a financial planner that you talk to says you've got to have a minimum amount of money, walk out the door, because a big part of our job is helping people get from point A to point Z, not from point P to point Z, right? A lot of our clients are younger. We have a lot of Mary Kay advice or Mary Kay consultants who we're helping train themselves for that part of the business. I'm available via email for anybody that wants. Dawn's going to put up my information. I answer a lot of emails just with basic questions. Our agency not only helps people with retirement and individual investing, but we do Medicare, we do health insurance, we do life insurance. We are a brokerage, so I have access to a lot of different companies to do the things we want to do. But really, my point in being here today and starting some of these talks is just awareness, just for people that are either in entrepreneurship or stepping into entrepreneurship, to know the things that they need to be aware of and to realize that there are solutions to doing that. And there are people that will help you do that. Don, do you have any questions at all?
No, and I think this is why I love, well, there's lots of reasons I love you and Carla. I had been praying for someone. I wanted a female. So, I listen to you, but I love that Carla, she has her dad's gift in this too. I've asked her, are you just doing what your dad tells you? Or are you just good at this? So I think you both are very good at what you're doing here. You're swimming in your lane. But I wanted a Christ follower and I want someone that understood Mary Kay. And then voila, Carla and myself, our businesses got intersected through my directors meetings. And They are great. If you guys need an education, they help me understand what's going on. I can bring questions to them. It's unbiased. They do understand being an entrepreneur because it's different. There's ups and downs in business cycles, and
Sure.
that's not a bad thing. You just have to prepare yourself for them, because I'd rather prepare myself for an up and down in a business cycle versus it happening to me and I lose my job. I mean, my son-in-law's lost
Sure.
3 jobs in the last 6 months because of the economy, not because of him, because of companies closing and, jobs just being gone. So I like being a risk taker, which Mary Kay expected all of us to be. Matthew 25:14-30. Look at the parable of the talents. Mary Kay wrote that on the dollar bill when I left my new director training, and I wish I would have looked it up before 9 years into my business, because it talks about investing your gifts and talents, which are time and money. But the person who would not take a risk and working for someone else and having that what you perceive secure paycheck could be, I mean, for everyone, it's different. Only God knows what he's called you to. But if he's called you to be an entrepreneur and be a risk taker in his kingdom and in this company and in this world, then staying in a job because of the benefits and the security is not being a risk taker. And you're not going to hear good and faithful servant. And that was Mary Kay's, ironically, it wasn't how much you sold and your position on the career path she was most concerned about. It was that you heard good and faithful servant. And so it hurts my heart when I see women, I call it going back to Egypt for the security, because they're unwilling to learn how to manage money as an entrepreneur. And they're not willing to, be coached by people who are better than they are in those arenas, which, you and your wife definitely are. So I love that you gave them a place to start. In the boards, Jeff's, all his contact information is there for anyone that is interested. But I also like that what he's telling you, just like when we do a Mary Kay skincare class, obviously we hope that, you'll buy Mary Kay because we think it's the best product around and we think that it's going to benefit them. But if not, people still benefit. They can take that information and use it with a different skincare line. So Jeff is here to share with you. These are basic. This is not, his thing. It's his, this is truth in the financial world. And he can educate you as an entrepreneur how to take the money from your skincare classes that we just did an education on. And now I'm going to go into more Mary Kay math so we can roll that out in the sales and team building departments. But these are trustworthy people, and this is valuable information. And Mary Kay will be happy that we're talking about this because she was very concerned for women back then. And if she was still alive, she'd still be very concerned for women. I'm very concerned because right now I'm seeing statistics that over 60% of families they can't even do a $500 emergency. Not even a $500 emergency will break them. They don't have that $1,000. They don't have 500.
Sure.
Every credit card debt has been racing upward. Things cost more. And honestly, unless you're an entrepreneur, I don't know how you offset that. I think that every time I do an Instacart order or a Costco order and it's $500, $600. And you're like, how do people that have a fixed income, because when you're an employee, you have a fixed income.
Right.
How do people with a fixed income, how do you not go into debt and not go backwards and not start to get hopeless and snowball the wrong way in these economies? So thank you, Jeff. Is there anything else you want to add before we head into the rest of the training?
No, just to kind of echo your point. A lot of these habits that I was talking about is of starting, making sure you've got money in savings, systematically investing. Over time, those are parts of the things that are going to be a safety net when unexpected things happen. We had investment clients during the couple of years that things were shut down in COVID. Some of them were terrified and some of them were not. And the difference between those two people, the ones that had built something that they could weather a storm and the ones that didn't. And those were people with normal jobs. You know, I would argue that entrepreneurs have to be even more conscious of those things, because things can happen to you as an entrepreneur that you're directly affected by.
Mm.
Absolutely directly affected by. And you need to be aware that you need to have things set aside. So every time, you know, you systematically invest, every time you have something come out of your bank account, every time you take a great profitable party, and rather than spend all of that profit, take half of it and put it somewhere, those are all investments in your future. Those are all investments in things that are going to keep you from getting in trouble over time and damaging your business.
Mm.
Nothing is going to prey on you more than money issues. You know,
Mm.
they really aren't. If things get tight, that can really affect you. So, but you know, to echo your point too, please contact me if anybody has any questions. I'm more than happy to shoot you emails back. Even if you think this is a dumb question, it's not. Email me. I'm happy to answer it to the best of my ability. So happy to help. I owe Mary Kay a lot at this point, and I'll buy you ladies and have amazing respect for you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for spending time with us.
Of course. Happy Saturday.
Okay, I'm going to stop and restart.